having Mr. Benny Lee as your father?
Well, you know,
Give him a little background information on who the man is, man.
well, you know, my father, you know,
some great man.
well, my father, you know, he was a gang chief at an early age. You know what I'm saying? At the conservative vice lords and shit. He grew up on Cicero out west. You know, and by the time my father got his life together, that's when he had me. You know what I'm saying? At the age of 35 and shit. So a lot of real street members. Like I could remember being a shorty, you know what I'm saying, and getting those calls from like Larry Hoover, you know what I'm saying, and you know hanging out with Chief Malik grandsons and shit, you know what I'm saying, and you know having Shorty Freeman at my wrestling matches at at Finger, because you know what I'm saying, that's the predominant, that was one of the strongholds of the BDs and shit. But you know having those real street officials, you know what I'm saying, around me, and you know, and a lot of them being in my ear and telling me like, hey man, you know your father done lived it for you already, you know what I'm saying. A lot of the shit that you want to get involved in, you ain't gotta do it, you know. But you know, having my father as having Benny Lee as my father, I would say I'm one of the most blessed men ever in life, you know, because he a scholar. Besides all that bullshit, you know, that he lived and shit, my father now, he's a founder of his own non-for-profit called NAFI, the National Alliance for the Informally Incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? Where he helped a lot of guys that's just coming home from doing those long sentences and everything or whatever, and helping them get adjusted back to life and shit, helping them get like housing and jobs and teaching them how to market themselves on how they could use their life as a platform, you know, to grow and not necessarily just be stuck in what the past had to bring you and shit, you know. But like my father, he grew up on the west side and shit, and I grew up on the east side. So him, you know, I ain't gonna lie, I used to piss my daddy off so much, man. Like I used to piss him off so much because, you know, he seen so much already before he had me, but then he seen that, you know, once I got older and started going outside and, you know, getting involved in what the streets had to offer, you know, he would always be that one to like, you know, like tap a motherfucker and let a motherfucker know like, hey man, that ain't the way you do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, and he used to always remind me, like when I used to get into little shit, you know what I'm saying, with certain motherfuckers and shit'll get real, you know what I'm saying? He would always tell me like, hey man, look, just make sure you know what you're doing. Cause I can't tell you how to walk your life, you know what I'm saying? But I could at least give you some type of guidance and some type of knowledge of where I come from, you know what I'm saying, and what I've been through, and it could easily be you. You could be one of them motherfuckers who get a life sentence, you know what I'm saying? So he used to always tell me, don't get yourself in no situation that you can't handle, because it's gonna make me get involved. You know what I'm saying? So to protect my father, you know, I had to knuckle up. I had to, you know, go through shit. You know what I'm saying? And leave him out of that shit. A lot of the shit that my father and them, they did, a lot of the shit I was doing, my mom and my father didn't even know I was doing the shit until the cases came up. You know what I'm saying? Until you get caught by 12 or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Then, you know, it's like they gotta know what's going on. Like, cause I think my freshman year in high school and shit, I got charged with a mob action and shit. You know, getting involved in shit with the shit that, you know, the Latin Kings and shit, you know what I'm saying, with like being in their neighborhood and going to their school and shit, you know. Of course I gotta protect myself, and like I say, I ain't had no big brother, I ain't had nobody to run to. So, you know, I had to fend for myself, you know what I'm saying, and to protect, you know, my father from a lot of shit. I had to handle a lot of different situations on my own, you know what I'm saying. But yeah, Pops a real dude, you know what I'm saying. He didn't kind of like grab the world and gave him a hug, you know. It's for a lot of street motherfuckers and shit, you know what I'm saying. The motherfuckers who didn't walk that path and shit. He didn't made a major platform for a lot of guys that's re-entering into the city and shit from doing long sentences and, you know, just life all fucked up, either strung out on drugs and all that, you know what I'm saying. So that's one of the that's my real big dog. That's my hero. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Yeah.